Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. It's been 1 year since President Trump took the helm of these United States, holding a majority in both houses, and yet there's been turmoil in the form of investigations, protests, government shutdowns, international missteps, and staff firings and hirings. There have been failures. Not repealing Obamacare is one, and the Roy Moore defeat in the special election is another stinging loss to the party. But there have also been successes in the eyes of Republicans. That means passing tax reform and filling judicial seats at a hot pace. So where do things really stand in the grand old party? Not just in Washington, but here in the very blue state of New York. Here with answers and insight into President Trump's first year is the chairman of the New York State Republican Party, Ed Cox. Ed, welcome to the program.
Anna, great to be with you. And I do have to say, in the end, as James Carville famously said, the Clinton advisor, it's the economy, stupid. And on that, it's been a home run.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we could start right there with where the economy is. That seems to be what's keeping a lot of people feeling positive.
Oh, yeah, no, it does. I mean, when you go from a 1.9%, 1.6% economy, which it was for the Obama administration, and now it's going at over 3%, headed to 4%. Consumer confidence at all-time high, business confidence at all-time, and the stock market hitting records. And that's basically, deregulation has always been underestimated as a big, important factor in the economy. It's more important than tax cuts, I think. And of course, President Trump, right from the start, along with Congress, really focused on deregulation, which they could get passed with, in the Senate, you said a majority. Yes, we have a majority of now one vote. But you need 60 votes to really get anything done, but not with respect to deregulation. You could get things passed just by a vote of a majority.
Well, and we did see quite a lot of that. But I do want to go back to the most important thing that the president recently had done, and that was the tax cuts.
Yes.
So first of all, why was that so good? How does that help, especially in New York?
Deregulation has really given a huge boost, taking the wet blankets that the Obama administration put on the healthcare industry, on the financial industry with Dodd-Frank that killed community banks, are very important for small businesses that produce most of the new jobs, and the energy industry also. And the Trump administration just quickly is removing those blankets. Business confidence is up. And that's why you have, and the tax cuts then coming in are the booster rockets on the economy. I think we could be over 4%. And when it does get over 4%, believe me, you'll hear it from President Trump, because he's the one person who predicted it and said, no, it can't be done.
Yeah.
So, of course, that creates problems of its own, issues of inflation, higher interest rates and other things. But higher interest rates will help small savers. So it's, there are always issues that have to be dealt with, but people feel good because the economy is going well.
So even on the steps up, there's like a little step back, but a step up, step back, a little cha-cha as we move forward,
well,
if you will.
No, the economy has been more like a rocket.
Well,
the way
there
it's
you
taken
go.
off.
Yeah.
And with the tax cuts now as they cut in, and 90% of workers will in fact get $2,000, $3,000 extra in their paychecks in the next several weeks. They will see it. They will feel they can consume more, buy more. They'll feel more secure in their jobs.
There's also the issue of how that's going to affect New York State with the changes in the tax code. Now, I'm a homeowner in the Hudson Valley, and there's just been so much talk of the anxiety that this is going to put on New York, because we are a high tax state, and being able to write off those taxes is really important.
Well, it is important, but the tax cuts, in the end, unless you're earning your gross income is well over $200,000, you'll still be seeing a very significant cut in your taxes. And most people don't have mortgages that are more than $750,000, so you can deduct all your mortgage interest, and you can still take $10,000 of your property tax and your income tax, which actually, because your federal tax is 25%, 20%, they have a lot less value in the end. They take a lot less off than a full 3% reduction in your federal income tax, which is the actual tax cut.
Do you think then it's fair the way it's being presented, particularly from the governor's office, where this is sort of like
Absolutely
a boogeyman?
Not. He's playing it because in the end, he's way out on this, and he will get hurt because of it, because in several weeks, people will be getting their paychecks. More than 90% of people in New York State will see that their paycheck is up by several $1,000s.
You do have some experience on international politics, and the issue of the Korean Peninsula is definitely on a lot of people's minds. So I just want to get your take on what's going on right now.
China is the most important piece of this because they control the energy supplies that go into a very poor, starving North Korea, where this one dictator runs it, and it's all about him staying in power, and he's relying on his nuclear capability to keep him in power so no one would threaten him. Well, of course, that also threatens everyone. It's nuclear proliferation. It cannot happen. It would be in the interest of China, and I was involved in between Korea and China when they were establishing diplomatic relations about 25 years ago, when they couldn't talk with each other, I was the go-between.
Oh, wow.
And a very interesting thing, they recognize each other very quickly. South Korea and China recognize each other very quickly. I said, how did this happen so quickly? And a very smart, experienced South Korean told me, oh, that's simple. North Korea and China are married. South Korea and China are lovers. Because of the economic aspects. China was developing its economy. Korea had already developed. How did they do it? Korea wanted the trade. North Korea's got no trade. They've got nothing to really accept a communist government. And China's a communist government. So China cannot undo another communist nation that would say their system isn't working. They would want to see North Korea develop economically the way they did along the same lines. If the whole Korean Peninsula cannot just be denuclearized, with China leading the way on that, but also demilitarized, so our troops would then lead. If there's no threat from North Korea, South Korea would go right over into being very close to China and not as close to the United States, which in the end is what Xi Jinping is trying to do, and that is push the United States out of Asia as much as it can. And so this would be strategically, and the Chinese look long term, it's in China's interest to denuclearize, to squeeze North Korea, get rid of the nuclear weapons in North Korea, but also have a real, not just an armistice, but have a real treaty between North and South Korea and demilitarize the Korean Peninsula.
Listen, Ed, I want to thank you so much. And we'd also like to have you back because we do have a governor's race coming up. And
yes, indeed.
Challengers to,
race.
yes, major race. And challengers to Governor Cuomo are definitely something I'd love to have you back on to talk about.
Love to talk about it, Jenna.
All right, well, listen, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.